Okay, you already know who it is. Father Boo in your area. Wow, it's been a tough week. I mean, not relatively speaking, my life is probably okay. Going through a few things here in the work life and in the social life, but nothing I can't handle. But I don't even want to say the names, but like what's going on in the world ain't pretty. It's nice to come to church and feel safe and enjoy the simplicity of plugging a little cable into a little plug hole. It's not a metaphor, I mean literally plugging a cable. And so yeah, I mean I'm not going to give you a big sermon on the mount here. I'm sure everybody's dealing with their own stuff in their own ways. It's just calming for me to come here and to build my little silly machines and chat to all of you. So I appreciate you listening. So today I had a concept. I got to go about this the right way though. Today my concept is a pretty simple one. I have to tell you about it since you can't actually see it, but it'll be based around one knob. What I want to do is build a patch, any old patch with some melody oscillators and some drums and some, just the typical stuff. But what I want to do with that patch is map as many functions as I can to a single knob and then twist that knob to change the patch. Having functions assigned to a particular knob or just being assignable at all is certainly a feature of the Nord Modular. And I was looking through, what was it? Some synth that just came out. I think it was a new Roland Phantom. And I was like, oh, hey, look, they have the same function. It's they have assignable knobs. You can assign one or more features to a knob. That's what I do on the Nord Modular all the time. And I thought to myself, yeah, it's smart that Roland is adapting this function to their new synth. It's a technology that everybody could benefit from, really. Almost any kind of synth architecture could benefit from. And so few do. So few, most modern synths, if they have knobs, I'm a devotee of the ones that are one knob per function. I think that's a great concept. But having multiple functions assignable to a single knob or to a wheel or to some other control source, like let's say an XY pad, like a Chaos pad, is very helpful. So, like I said, today you won't actually see me tweak the knob on the synth because I don't have a camera set up to do that, but you will see, it'll probably be the red one here at the top of middle of the screen, which I will assign a bunch of functions to. But as I said, before I can assign functions to it, I have to actually get the bits of the synth going and playing their parts. And once they're happening, then we can start assigning stuff to knobs. So we're getting pretty close to a voice here. There's a sequencer for melodies. Let's make another one for events. Pretty straightforward stuff. Gonna make a thing that quantizes the notes. Key quantizer. And give him some notes here. Let's take the range and cut it in half. 64 goes down to 32. bit fiddly. And patch the sequencer into that. Send that to the pitch. So I got a pretty normal voice here. I'll keep things normal for me and put it in square wave mode. Cue up a little LFO. Finally, I've learned the right one. Sine wave LFO, send it to the pulse width. And we got the filter here. We got the amplifier. I guess we can, let's do this. Let's use the clock from here, and we'll use this other sequencer later. This one gives a clock every step. We can randomize this. And soon we should be able to hear stuff. Oh, if we connect the sequencer to a clock. There we go. We'll improve that in a second. Just hang on. There's the filter opening up nicely. And there's the resonance. This is good. It's a little fast. I kind of like the sequence he came up with. No, it's better the other way. And how about this? If I open it up too much, then the pulse width becomes so thin that the wave practically disappears. There's it off. Okay, so let's get started assigning. So, as I said, let me just turn this down for a sec. We've got our little melody playing, and one thing I often caution myself against out loud, and everybody else as well, is so much of synth programming is not just lining up the modules and making them make a sound. You got to tweak the knobs to get the sound to sound good. So we already have something that's pretty good, which is this. So you heard me twiddle around with the knobs a little bit. Since I've got it in kind of a place where I like it right now, I'm going to start assigning functions to knob 1. First of all, let's try the filter. So I'm going to make the filter a bit more open. It's a pretty good upper range. And just to be wacky, I'm going to start this one with a negative amount. So what I did there on my synth, which you probably won't have on your own at home, unless you're rocking the exact same Nord modular as me, I held down the control button and I dragged down on the frequency knob. Since this was going to the left, that means the more knob 1 goes to the right, the more down this filter is going to go. But he's not going to go all the way down to 0 and kill the sound. His lower limit is 698 hertz, which is the left side of that little slice of pie. And if I turn the knob back to 0, he will go back to his uppermost position, 2.09 kilohertz. So right now in real life, I'm going to tweak the knob. You'll see this knob turning, and you'll hear the effect on the sound. Here we go. Right? It dulls the sound. The key point being is that that little slice of the pie is mapped to the full value of knob 1, but it will never go outside that slice of the pie. It will never be so extreme as to turn the knob the whole way. So my goal today is to add more functions to that knob, to morph the sound more and more until I run out of functions or my computer catches fire, whatever happens first. Let's try another knob. So this one, pulse width, he started off at 0. So when this one's at 0, he's at 0, the dark black line. And while the frequency will go down when the knob goes up, the amount of pulse width modulation will increase, but it'll stop a little before midnight, because I noticed that when we get up that high, the wave almost disappears. Of course, this is actually like an amount knob, how much this LFO is allowed to modulate the pulse width. So right now, the LFO is not modulating it at all. It's connected up, but the amount is 0. But as you'll see, we'll introduce motion when we turn the knob. So again, watch the red knob 1 at the top. So the filter is going down, but the pulse width is increasing, or actually I should say the amount of modulation of the pulse width is increasing. So we got 2 functions under one knob right now. Let's try that a little louder just so we can hear it. Cool. Okay, I haven't built the rest of the synth yet, but I can think of a few more things I could add. I could mess with the decay time. Let's try that. So now as the knob goes up, the note should get shorter. So even at the maximum amount, they're still audible, they're just very short. So we got a good amount of change going on there. I was thinking of mapping this LFO speed to it as well, but I think we're good. So since we got the 3 knobs under one master control for this voice, let's go on and do a few more things. Why don't we make some drums? I'll admit, I'm with drums, maybe I've become lazy over the years, but I don't tend to map a lot of the drum synth knob functions to my master knob. But this session is all about doing something different, so let's do something different. And right now I've got a kick and a cymbal. Let's connect that event sequencer, and I think we're going to need the old reset syncing thing as well. There we go. That should sync our 2 sequencers up and send the gate outs to the trigger inputs of the drums, and send the drums to our little 8-channel mixer here. I don't think we're going to aim for 8 voices today. I just put it in there because I knew I was going to have more than 3. So let's give them a little bit of real simple sort of drum pattern on the... Yeah, I like kick 2. Kick 3 is also good. There we go, that's something different. Not a great hat. Much better. Horrible. Let's just listen to the percussions. Kind of digging on perk 3 there. What does symbol 1 give me again? Okay. Okay, well, let's do some messing with our drum patterns. Our drum tones, I should really say. Let's bring the other voice back in again. just say at this point that I'm going to do a pretty classic trick that you've heard me do here before. I'm hearing a different one than the one on the event sequencer. So I'm going to move the, I'm going to turn the hi-hat off because it's annoying me slightly. And then I'm going to move the kick drum 1 to where I'm hearing it. So I think that was, it's 8. Yeah. Not quite. It's 9. Okay, good. Okay, that's a bit more tolerable. Let's start mapping some notes here. That's actually pretty cool. Let's map that. Such a small change, 400 to about 900 milliseconds. But when I turn up the knob, now that cymbal rings out, and at the same time, the synth melody line is taken back a bit. Cool. I already know what I want to do with the kick drum, which is I want the pitch to go down as I turn up the knob. So let's try that. Oops. I moved it, and I didn't have the control button held down, so let's try that again. It really didn't need much. Let's just... See? Now the kick is like super deep. You're even... Because turning the knob to the right is restricting the overall volume of the melody line, it really changes the volume levels in a practical sense. The drums become louder. Such a transformation of the sequence, right? It's actually really cool. I'm tempted to almost stop what I'm doing, but I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna keep on going and hope I don't screw up what I think is a successful demonstration of the power of a single knob. Just to add them up again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knobs only under the control of this master knob. That's all that's being changed, 5 functions. And again, well, you could consider them almost like they have their own VCAs or their own amount knobs, because the slices of the pie are not that big. Actually, this one is quite big, but look at how tiny that one is. 50 hertz down to 37. You might think, it's not going to change the sound at all. But that's what I mean about adjusting very slightly and listening to it. And of course, in the digital world, we have the chance to undo it as well. There you got that deep kick, the long hi-hat, and the muted melody. And then we even have like midpoints like this. Look at where the knob is now. It still has some pulse width in it, so it's a bit more variation. You can hear the sweep in the square wave here. Okay, well, like I said, sometimes when things are good, I tend to stop and say, okay, well, that's it, folks. But I'm going to keep going here. I think what I want is a second melody line. So I think I'm going to build that right now. I didn't have many deep plans about what any of the voices here today were going to be. I only knew that it was a knob programming experiment. So let's just do something different here. I think we'll use classic LP filter again, but the oscillator we've got is very different. And we've got a somewhat simplistic envelope situation here. That's fine. You see that even with only the two knobs of an AD envelope, you can still mess with it quite a bit tonally with just the decay amount. Imagine what you could do with ADSR. But I don't think we're going to get into that one today. Here's something even more crazy. Oh, that's even... Okay, good. I remembered my other idea. My other idea was to take a certain kind of filter, the vocal filter, and run the whole damn mix through it. Which is what I'm going to do right now. It's not bad, but it's not great. Okay, let's kill that idea for now, but we may run something through a vocal filter later. Let's set up this voice, and as I said, get it going. The key is step 1, get it playing something you like. Step 2, experiment with the knobs. Step 3, map the knobs. Step 4, eat a big slice of pie because you did a good job. I'm probably going to need this anyway. I'm planning to mess with the spectral shape here as well. Let me make a couple of LFOs here. How about a random generator? And maybe a boring LFO like the last one, but it'll be at a different speed. So you see I got the spectral shape open. It's kind of similar to this. My LFO's going at a different speed, so should do something different. And he's going to need a sequencer and a quantizer too. I just copied and dragged them. Let's move them up a bit. They're not connected to a clock yet, so they're not doing anything cool. Let's change the notes a bit, but the range is the same. Send the pitch to here. Oh, this guy is on E4. So is he. So let's send one of them down an octave just to do something different. And I was thinking also I might divide the clock. Clock divider, there it is. It's my boy, Clocky D. We'll leave it on 1 now just to be boring, but we'll do something different later. And we'll re-randomize the sequence naturally. Let's try dividing the clock by 2 to start and see how far that gets us. And we're going to take the clock out of here. We should get some noise. Oh, I haven't turned this up. Take this note out of the sequence here. Not bad, not bad. It's going to turn the knob all the way left to keep it 0. I'm just going to mute. I just want to listen to the spectral osc voice and get it tweaked up right. motion you're hearing is coming from the spectral shape amount. So I think it sounds pretty neat here. Let's go ahead and... let's do it in reverse. So this one, as we said, goes from 0 modulation to full as the knob goes up. So let's send this one in the opposite direction. So when I turn the knob, well, now the motion has gone out of that voice. Let's try it with this. We've lost him on the screen here, but that LFO is still controlling him. Let's just bring him back into view. It's nice. I like the speed it's going at, so I'm going to just leave this setting here as it is. It's a little slower than the default. And the filter is open enough that you can hear it when it's doing this. So when we go like this, we're going to have a duller sound because the spectral shape is at 0, or it's not being modulated, I should say. This is the knob fully right. So while we're at it, why don't we have some motion in the filter? So we'll map this again. I'm really breaking my own rule here. I said I would listen. I didn't even have the LFO connected yet. Let's turn it up and... oh, it is up. Maybe a filter needs to be... well, this one is being controlled by a random LFO. And the depth is quite large. You can hear it almost disappearing at points. But we turned up the res a bit, so we'll get it to the sound to stick out a bit even when it's dialed down. Seems quite quiet now. Let's turn the knob back to the left. You're still getting those nice peaks when it's on fully left. You know what's helping it here? The reverb. The reverb from my sound card is helping this sound better. But in a real programming situation, I'd have some kind of reverb on it, so it's fine. Let's unmute the other voice again. Still pretty interesting. Let's try turning the knob. So both of the synths are pretty muted in this one when it's fully right, and it lets the percussion side of things shine through. Man, it's so simple, but I really like how the cymbal sounds with that extra decay on it. Yeah, that's neat. Well, I promised to map stuff. We got 2 knobs mapped here. What if, well, let's just experiment with mapping this to the knob and see what we get. The knob is fully right, so let me just tweak it and see what we get. Oh, that shouldn't do anything. Let's just undo. Because when it's fully right, this door is closed. So you'll only hear this when the knob is at 50% as it is here now. Because as the speed of the LFO increases, the amount it's affecting things decreases. But it still makes for an interesting middle point. And we had the resonance up. Let's try bringing it back down, but allowing it to be higher when the knob is up. Let's twist again. There's fully left. And fully right. Something in the middle. I'm tempted also to slightly tweak this knob, the attack amount. I don't know if it's going to sound any good, but let's tweak it anyway. Yeah, it's not helping. What if we increase the decay? It's exactly the opposite of what this guy is doing. I think I like it better the way it is. Okay. I'm going to give one more shot at running the whole thing through a vocal filter. I'm having the feeling it's not going to improve things, but I want to give it a shot-a-roo. Why do I choose vocal filter? Because although it will affect all the tones, it won't ever, like when you go fully left on the vocal filter, it won't be silent. It'll still be something. I tend to like the sound of the O's and the U's better. It's just a personal preference. It's an interesting concept. Maybe this. But I don't really think it sounds better. Sorry, vocal filter. Today is not your time to shine. I tried to undo it all the way, but I ran out of undos, I guess. Gotta just do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah. So I think we are gonna stop on this at this point here. Count them up again. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 functions mapped to the single knob number 1. I forget what the max is. I want to say it's around 15, and of course this synth has 3 mappable hardware knobs. If you had a MIDI controller connected, you could use the mod wheel, the expression pedal. Those are great functions to have. I can't really demonstrate them for you here and now, but man, it's great flexibility. Very playable, lets you solo in real time while twisting a wheel or twisting a knob and changing things so drastically. So one more time, we'll just listen to the knob sway from left to right as we fade out here. I want to thank everybody again. Stay safe out there, people. Violence is not the answer. If there's one thing Father Moo can agree on, it's that violence is bad. Violence is not the answer. Synths, however, might be. So stay home, stay safe, patch your cables. Nobody will get hurt. Thank you so much. We're going to tweak it a bit as we go out here. Father Moo.